As this video is about disappointment, Mr. X thought it should be fitting that you share in similar disappointment by watching an extremely lagging YouTube video. You're welcome. Earlier this year, another YouTube channel that specializes in comics and has been trying to get their foot in the door as a statue reviewer did a video called Statues I Regret Buying. Not only did this video do very well, but it was copied by quite a few other YouTubers. Now you know me, I don't like to copy stuff, so I came up with a genius idea. We're going to talk about the statues I wish I didn't buy. Totally different. Welcome to the Extreme Channel. My name is Mr. X. This channel is all about high-end collectibles. In my collecting career, I have purchased hundreds and hundreds of high-end statues. Now, sometimes when I make these purchases, I make them on impulse. Sometimes I do it drunk. Sometimes I do it just to be loyal to a producer or a company. And sometimes I do it because I'm stupid. So of those hundreds of purchases, some of them I wish I did not buy. Today, we're going to look at a top 10 list of statues I wish I didn't buy. And surprisingly, some of the statues on that list are amazing statues. So it's not because that the statue just sucked ass, it's for other reasons which we will talk about. So as Mrs. X always says, let's just get this done. Now with these top 10 lists, you guys know I love to do honorable mentions. So let's throw some honorable mentions in there. And ironically, most of the honorable mentions, in fact all of them, these statues are actually done very well. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with this guy right behind me. Mr. X, that's a badass statue. Why don't you like that? It's not that I don't like the statue. When I purchased this Gamorrean guard, I did a review on him, as I do with all my new pieces. During that review, I said I wasn't a fan of the skin color under certain lighting, because these reviews are my opinion. Then I was publicly called out by the company that made this statue, saying that my false opinions are giving people negative viewpoints. Well, what's ironic is I had purchased another statue from them, this Michael Myers right here. And in a forum, they said that it was because of the lighting I used to try and make it look bad. All of that I can forgive. People are proud of their own work. I understand that. But then I tried to purchase another piece that they had up. And with that, they canceled my order. And then that's fine. Moving on, there was an error. Then I went ahead and purchased another piece. And you know what? They told me there was another error and my order had to be canceled. So for that reason, I'm kind of done with that company, or they're done with me, or a mutual being done. But that's why he makes the list. It was more about the company than the statue. And with respect, it is a very nice statue. I do like it a lot. Now my next piece is this fat Wolverine. And I know a lot of you are shocked by this because you're like, that's an awesome piece. That's a really hard to find piece. It flips for 2 to 3 times retail. The reason why I regret buying this is because I paid quite a bit for it. I paid 2 to 3 times retail, and because I got this, I felt I had to get the entire line. So I purchased every single one after that. The Deadpool, the Superman, the Batman, Aquaman that's coming out. They have a Spider-Man coming out. So it was almost like this purchase that snowballed. That's why I wish that I hadn't bought it in the first place, and by no means am I looking to sell those. But for that reason, it makes an honorable mention in my statues I wish I had never bought. Another piece for a similar reason is Prime 1 Studios' Lockdown Transformer piece. If I hadn't purchased this, I think I would have saved myself about $30,000 because it opened this rabbit hole of going down these Michael Bay Transformer pieces that take up so much space, that cost so much, however they are amazing. So that's why I wish I had not purchased this statue. And I know you're thinking, Mr. X, I love drama. I tuned into this because I want to see a lot of negative press about statues. We're going to get there. But before we do, probably the most shocking one on the honorable mention list is Prime 1 Studios' Doomsday. The reason why I wish I hadn't bought this is simply because of the size. It commands so much size, and I don't just mean height, but the base takes up so much room, it makes it very, very difficult to display. I still own it to this day, and I'm not interested in selling it, but it makes displaying it almost prohibited in the proper context. Now let's go to the top 10, and if you're interested to get on this list because you wanted to see some crappy statues, well, some of these will fall into that, and that's up to you to decide. Number 10 is Infinity Studios' Pilgrimage. So this is a dragon statue, and there's a lot of things I didn't like about this. One, I think it was cheaply done, which is really unfortunate because Infinity Studios is a high-end company. Two, I think the scale is completely off. Three, the way it is presented with that back, I have it with other dragons, and none of them have like this cheap back, so it makes it look very weird and stupid when it's displayed with the rest. I think it was a big miss, one of the few misses that Infinity Studios does, but nonetheless, it's a purchase I wish I hadn't made. Number 9 is by Weta. It is their Golem. And if you saw the review, I think this is a spectacular piece, but I think it's way overpriced. I even got it 35% off, and I still think it's overpriced. It is a very small statue for a $1,700 price. The details are done really well on it. It's not perfect, so I'd expect it to be perfect at that price. And right now, I don't have any other Lord of the Rings stuff. However, that will probably change with Prime 1 Studios' recent awesome teasers. So in the end, he may come off this list because hopefully he'll go really well with those pieces. Number 8, ECC. It is a Reaper. So I regret this for a few reasons. I did get a great deal on him. Unfortunately, I was a little hesitant. The seller would only take friends and family, and he said it was sealed, that he hadn't opened it, but there was nothing wrong with it, and of course it came broken, and he told me he wouldn't be held responsible for any breakages, so that was what it was. That was a bummer. But the big part is, I just hate the pose on this. It's a really weird pose, and the fact that it's 1/3 and most of my movie and horror pieces are 1/4, it really doesn't line up with my collection. That's why I really regret buying him, and the packaging was almost destroyed as well. So I don't really have a choice. I can't sell him off, and I'm kind of stuck with him, and he's kind of an odd apple within my collection. Number 7 is a recent Venom that I got in. This one was incredibly disappointing because I thought it was going to be one of my best Venoms of the 15 or 20 Venom statues I have. I still own him, and there are some things I like about him, but just overall, how overscaled he was, how cheap some of the paint and sculpt, which really surprised me because this producer and factory put out top-notch stuff in my opinion, but everybody has a miss now and then. I do regret buying him, especially when shipping was, $400 or $500. I think it'd be tough just to break even selling this guy. Number 6 is one I've never done a review on. Since Silver Surfer is my favorite piece, this is one of the first Silver Surfer purchases I made. This is a custom, supposedly 1/4 scale Silver Surfer. However, he's much bigger than 1/4 in my opinion. He's probably between 1/4 and 1/3. And he's just not that great looking. I mean, I don't know how to say it, especially now that I have some other Silver Surfers that people would call grails. I just was not happy with this piece. I know a lot of people that love it, and that's what's great about the subjectivity of collecting, but I really wish I had never purchased this one. I sold it for a loss just to get rid of it. Number 5, I never understood the love for Sideshow's Carnage. I hated this piece. I bought it because I needed a Carnage for my Spider-Man collection. The magnets were weak, the pose was weird. I did not like this piece at all. I sold it for a loss just to get rid of it, and I know a lot of people are fans of this one as well, but I never get it. I have a custom Carnage coming in that's going to be amazing, but I've also reviewed XM Studios Carnage. I have that too, and I think that's awesome. But Sideshow Carnage Premium Format was just a huge miss for me. Number 4 is also by Sideshow Collectibles. This is their Lino. This one, my nostalgia got a hold of me, and I went ahead and did an impulse purchase because I love their Mumra, which came out before that, and I actually have a custom Mumra coming in. But I ended up selling him for a loss as well. I just hated the pose. I hated the clothes. I think it was such a big miss of an iconic character from my childhood, and I wish I had never purchased him. Gonna throw in another Audible here, last minute edition. This was PCS Ultimate Warrior. I recently got this, and as you guys know in the review, I was extremely dissatisfied. Normally when you get a statue, it looks way better in person. This is one of the few statues out there, although I think there's one later on the list, that looks way worse in person. The pictures and video make it look way better than it actually is, in my opinion. Now we're down to the top 3, so go ahead and comment below to see if you can guess what one of the top 3 is. Some of you should know at least what one of those are. I think two of them will be a big surprise to you guys. But comment below because that enters you into the monthly contest. And also, we are also giving away a statue. Check this out. On our road to 20,000 subs, we are giving out this Mortal Kombat statue at 12,500 subs. All you have to do is make sure you like this video, you've subscribed to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification, and stay tuned for that giveaway. Alright, so number 3 is by Pop Culture Shock Toys. This is the Reptile. I had 2 1/3 Pop Culture Shock Toys pieces. I own another one actually, I own their Goro, but I hated this. I thought that it was such a miss. I lost like $300 selling it. I think this whole 1/3 line sucks. I actually had their Ryu, which looked amazing. The sculpt was awesome, but I also sold him for like a $200 or $300 loss just to get rid of him. And the mixed media, this is a piece I just do not like. I know a lot of people love it, but huge mistake on my part for buying this. Number 2 is this Jack of the Dust skull. So this was my 5th purchase from Jack of the Dust, and the first 4 purchases I was ecstatic about. This one is crap. So essentially it's a plastic skull with Chia Pet that sheds all the time all over it. And I can't remember how much it cost. You can check out my review, but it was so overpriced. This isn't worth $50, and I paid probably 8 times that. When you look at it from afar, it's okay, but up close, it just looks like poor quality. Now we're down to number 1, and number 1 was not only because some of the things with the statue I wasn't a fan with. I think there was definitely some quality issues, but also equally about the producer. He's a thief and a liar. So what I mean by that is when I purchased this, I paid in full. And he kept telling me I owe him money, I owe him money. So I kept showing him screenshots of my payments, and that would calm him down because he forgot the money I paid him. And then he shipped it to me, and I gave a negative review, and then I started stating some facts, not going after him or anything like that. And then he calls me out publicly saying I didn't even pay for the piece. So then I screenshotted all of our conversations back and forth. And then in the end, this guy actually ran away with a bunch of people's money. So this is a custom Wolf Slayer piece. Magneto versus Wolverine 1/4 scale. The concept on this was amazing. Even the render was awesome. There was definitely some big paint issues and sculpt issues when it came out. And the producer of this was blinded to it. Said there was nothing wrong. He communicated horribly. He stole people's money. Top of there being quality issues, the paint and sculpt weren't that good. He never got back with replacement pieces. He was horrible to try and communicate with unless he was advertising a new piece. He also stated once that he couldn't answer a message for 6 months because he got a new job. And there's just so much negative stigma around this statue for those reasons, and that is why I really, really regret buying this. This was actually one of my first big hits on YouTube because it was about negativity. So I'm really curious how this video is going to do. People like to watch negative stuff, and I don't like to put out negative stuff. So if that's your cup of tea, negative stuff, there's not going to be too much on this channel. But go ahead and turn on the news because that's all they advertise. So that was my top 10 list. Now the best part of the video, tell me at least your top 1 or 2, the statues you wish you didn't buy and why you wish you didn't buy it. And what's really cool about some of this is very objective, like I wish I didn't support a thief and a liar. But some of it's subjective. It's like, I really love this piece or I really dislike this piece, like the Sideshow Carnage. So I think that's good to hear different points of view. But guys, seriously, thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to put in the comments of your number 1 statue you wish you didn't purchase. Click on some of these other top 10 playlists or the Mr. X logo to make sure you've subscribed. 60% of you are not subscribers. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow.